Any type of metal boo doo 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 doo, except new metal boo doo 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 doo, new metal show boo doo 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 doo. March. That's right, Blaine Smith here again, ushering you in to the month of March, when people start actually releasing albums again. Cool. You know, we got a new look for Banger's monthly metal view show. There's a green screen, because why not? We had it lying around. This is Blaine Smith reporting live from a hurricane. It's windy. So we're gonna try this out. If you like it, let us know. Speaking of green screens, I stream on Twitch where people use green screens. I don't. But come by, we play video games and listen to metal. Sweet. As always, if you're new, we'll hope you get subscribed, because this is all we do here. We just gush about metal all the time. And if you do like what you see, maybe you can consider supporting us on Patreon, because it helps keep all this content coming for you. Just to start off, I'm going to run down some albums coming out this month, and you might see a little bit more from these on the channel. These might be reviewed albums, but we just also want to keep you abreast on the big things coming out so you don't miss them. On March 1st, Mark Morton went off on his own and released Anesthetic on WPP/Spine Farm Records. Coming up on March 8th, Children of Bodom will be releasing Hexed on Nuclear Blast. Fallujah will be releasing Undying Light on Nuclear Blast, March 15th. Vlitamas, featuring David Vincent, will be releasing Something Wicked Marches In on Season of Mist, March 29th. Marchin' in March. And Whitechapel releasing The Valley on Metal Blade, also on March 29th. And just a nice little kind of bigger shout out, because I screwed up last month and forgot to mention my buddy Anthony from Chaoteon released under his kind of different alternate project Death Tribe, released Beyond Pain and Pleasure, Desert Experiment on February 22nd. It's a cool kind of compilation-y medley album, but all made by him and Linus from Obscura and the Dark Funeral drummer, where they kind of just run through a bunch of different styles of metal. So if you're someone that kind of likes a little bit of everything, it's a good record to check out. Now it's time for my 5 personal picks. These are the 5 albums I've been listening to the most that I'm really stoked for you guys to hear. So we're gonna play a couple little clips and I'm gonna talk about them. Let's get into it. So up first we have Obscure Infinity, Into the Vortex of Obscurity on FDA Records, March 22nd, 2019. Have a listen. Yes, this German death band is released my frontrunner for album of the year so far. 3 months in, and we finally have something that is a standout contender for me. I absolutely love this record, partially because, band, look at that cover. Space Magic! And because you guys asked for it, I'm gonna try and shout out the artist more. That was by Juanjo Castigliano. We'll put the name down there. Awesome cover that really gets into what this band's about, which is this kind of dirty death metal where they can kind of slow it down sometimes like Bolt Thrower does, but they can also go fast, and it's got a weird kind of space vibe throughout the whole thing through lyrics and some of the guitar tone and sounds. It's super awesome. The drumming, I find a lot of times death metal drumming can be impressively boring in the sense that a guy is super technical but doesn't really create a movement in my body. This is some great, awesome drumming, but it has a nice groove to it. It's D-beaty. I can get into it. I'm moving. Turns out this is their 4th full length. It's my first time hearing the band, so I'm definitely going to be going back through their whole catalog to check out everything, but definitely pick this record up if you like death metal at all. It's super awesome, very cool, very unique, I think, and like I said, early front runner for me for my favorite thing that came out this year. So, next, we have Devilmaster with Satan Spits on Children of Light. Great title, which is out on Relapse. It just came out a couple days ago, March 1st. Let's check that out. This is some black kicking metal punk out of Philly, and boy does it feel like it comes out of Philly, because Philly's a small city that goes hard and parties, and it's awesome. And that's this album. Album cover totally gives you that idea as well. Technicolor Crazy Freakout by artist Erica Frevel at Negative Aura on Instagram. So this is nothing crazy fancy, not super tech, just some crazy fun, really good party punk metal jams. If you just want to put on some stuff to have a good time to, I would highly suggest this. The whole thing's got a great 80s spooky vibe to it, and I feel like if Ghost was fun, this is the band they would have made. So this is a bit of a bigger band you might have actually already heard of. Misery Index is releasing Rituals of Power on Season of Mist, March 8th. So, if you don't know, they are a death metal, but used to be grind, so it's still in there. A band out of Baltimore. Fantastic city, puts in great metal all the time. This Skeleton Pillars album by Raphael Gabriel at Insane Visions. This is an example of why a good album cover really goes a long way. Personally, confession time, I had never really listened to Misery Index before because there's a band called Misery Signals that I hate, and their name was really similar, and I kind of didn't like any of their previous album covers, so I think I just thought they were like a metalcore band or something. And then I saw a cool album cover, I listened to it, and I was like, oh wait, no, never mind. This is a really, really good band. They create an interesting type of death metal coming from a grindcore band where it sounds like death metal, but it has that kick in the chest intensity that really only grind bands can do, but without some of the kind of gratingness of a grindcore band that some people might experience. It's a kick in the chest of an album, and there's a bunch of cool things that they bring in that a lot of other bands can't use very well. There's some group chant on the album that kind of a hardcore thing, but they make it not a hardcore thing at all. They make it a metal thing. Just a great album, and hey guys, sorry I didn't listen to you before, but you put out a sweet album with a sweet cover, and I love it, and I'm telling people to buy it. Buy it. Our next record is Contrarian, Their Worm Never Dies, on Willowtip Records, coming out March 15th. So these guys are actually some banger buds and supporters, making some really cool prog, techie vibe death. Album cover, just a theme this month. We got a space dragon, more space magic, and just a big shout out for a proggy, techie death band for just not going with an album cover that looks like a bootleg copy of Pro Tools. Just not slapping a Photoshop filter on there, getting some real art. Good work, boys. Definitely helps out. This is a cool band just making some kind of cool stuff that's a little different from normally what you'd expect. A few things. Despite the tech wizardry, they sometimes just kind of throw away the tech wizardry to make just a nice, pretty sounding passage in a song, which is really cool. They fixed the production for the last album, which really bothered me, and now it sounds great. So thanks, guys. Awesome. And it has a lot more cohesion than I find a lot of the times these guys that get too good at instruments can have. A lot of times you get a techie, proggy album, and it's kind of like that meme of a party where everybody's on different drugs. The bass player's just off in some K-hole in the corner slapping about. The drummer's just blasting through on meth. But these guys they kind of really come together more as a band, and everything sounds like a unit, even though everybody's playing whatever. It's good. Buy it. And finally, I know it was a death-heavy month, but there's all different types of death metal, and it's all really good. Sometimes there's just a bunch of good death metal. So this month's Gari palette cleanse is much needed, and some epic-y fantasy with a bit of a doomy kind of Finnish heavy metal-y. It's Iron Griffin, Curse of the Sky. It's an independent release coming out on March 22nd, and you know it's I'm just here.
It was a time of ago when you could learn to want to see. You could close your eyes from what the world has come to be.
So this is a real show off. The album cover, some nice simple kind of just fantasy elements. It's done by the same guy that does pretty much everything else. Oskari Rasanen. He records everything, he masters everything, he plays everything. The only thing he's not doing anymore is singing. He brought in a singer, and he also did the album art himself. So you know, quit showing off. But this is a really cool record. I'm really into this. I know I joke around that sci-fi is better than fantasy, but I do like fantasy when it's done right, and I feel like this is fantasy done right. He brought in a female singer, which heavy metal, doomy, fantasy stuff just benefits super hard from. It just makes a great vibe. And boy, Maya Tander, Jesus Christ, what is this, Finnish Idol? This girl can like really sing. She's belting stuff out. She could be doing an opera. It's really cool. It's really awesome. Pretty much, it's just the sickest Ren Fair you've ever been to. If you like Sarah from this channel, you'll like this album. So, trust me, trust her, trust them. So hey, for this month, that's it, that's all. Thanks for coming out. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Try out this green screen. Let us know what you think of that. And, you know, just keep on being the awesome supporters that you guys are. And thanks. Have a good night.